Hey guys, welcome back to another Daily Dose of Dunn. Today's episode, it only hurts if it's true. Let me ask you something. Why do some insults roll right off your back, while other insults stay in your head for days? Why can one person criticize you and you laugh, but someone else says one sentence and suddenly your entire mood changes, your whole day is ruined? Maybe it wasn't what they said, maybe it wasn't their tone, maybe it wasn't even the person who said it. Maybe it hurt because deep down, there's a part of you that believed it was true. Now stay with me. Because the criticism that hurts the most might be showing you exactly where you need to grow. I've said this before, but if I was to call you a chair, that's not going to upset you. You'd probably laugh because it's absurd. And you know you're not a chair. If you call a rich man broke, he'll probably laugh. You call a strong man weak, he'll probably laugh. You call a genius stupid, he'll probably laugh. Why? Because their identity isn't threatened by your opinion. They know who they are. But if you call someone broke, who's secretly drowning in debt, now it's going to hurt. You call someone lazy who keeps breaking promises to themselves and others, now it's going to hurt. If you call someone selfish who knows maybe they haven't been showing up for others, well, it's going to hurt. The words didn't create the insecurity, they just found it. Sometimes criticism doesn't plant the wound, it presses on one that was already there. And that's why the truth can feel so offensive. Because the truth doesn't always knock politely. Sometimes it kicks the door down. Sometimes it exposes the very version of ourselves that we've been trying to hide or trying not to look at. Now, let me be clear. Not every insult is true. Sometimes people criticize you just because they're jealous. Got the haters out there. Sometimes people will try to tear you down because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Some people project their own pain, their own insecurity, their own failures onto you. Not every opinion deserves a seat at your table, but every strong reaction deserves a closer look. Because if a comment completely ruins your day, there may be something inside of you asking for that to be examined. Not defended, examined. That doesn't mean the person was right. That doesn't mean they know anything. It definitely doesn't mean they know everything. And it might not have been communicated well. It doesn't mean you deserved disrespect, but hidden inside every bad delivery, there can still be some useful information. Sometimes the messenger is terrible, but the message still has value. And mature people learn how to separate and differentiate and distinguish the difference between the two. They don't ask, did I like how they said it? They ask, is any part of it true? That question will change your life and the outcome of the situation. Because your ego wants to protect your image, but growth wants to improve your reality. Your ego says, who do they think they are? Growth says, why did that bother me so much? Your ego says, they're just jealous, which could be true. But growth says, is there something there that I need to fix? Your ego wants to win the argument. Growth wants to win the lesson. And sometimes you can win the argument and still lose. You can win the argument and still lose the opportunity to grow. That's the dangerous part. We become so focused on proving something wrong or someone wrong, we never stop to consider whether they were partially right. And partial truth can still reveal a full weakness. Maybe someone says you're unreliable, and immediately you start listing all the times that you showed up. But what about the times you didn't? Maybe someone says you don't listen, and you instantly interrupt them to prove how well you're a listener and explain how well you listen. Think about that. Maybe someone says you're arrogant, and instead of reflecting, you spend the next hour explaining why you're better than that person that said that, which is a arrogant thing to do. Sometimes our reaction proves the point, is what I'm saying. The louder the defense, the deeper the insecurity. The strongest people don't need to defend every accusation. They evaluate it. They keep what's useful and they discard what's not. That is emotional strength. Not pretending criticism doesn't hurt, not becoming numb, not allowing people to disrespect you, but being secure enough to look at yourself honestly, because your self-awareness is not weakness. Self-awareness is power. You cannot fix what you refuse to admit. You cannot grow past a weakness you keep pretending you don't have. You cannot become the person you want to be while protecting every flaw you currently have. And at some point, you have to stop defending the version of yourself that's holding you back. I want you to hear that again. You have to stop defending the version of yourself that's holding you back. Maybe the criticism hurts because you already know you're capable of more. Maybe it hurts because you know you haven't been disciplined. Maybe it hurts because you've been making excuses. Maybe it hurts because you've been settling. Maybe it hurts because someone said out loud what you've been whispering quietly to yourself in private. And that pain doesn't have to destroy you. It can direct you. Pain can be a compass. It can point toward the places that need healing. It can reveal the habits that need changing. It can expose the lies you've been telling yourself. The question is, will you use the pain as a weapon against someone else? Or will you use it as a tool to build yourself up, to bring yourself back? Because offended people attack the messenger. Wise people inspect the message. Imagine how powerful you'd become if every criticism made you curious instead of defensive. Imagine someone says, "You've been inconsistent," and instead of snapping back, you ask yourself, "Have I?" Imagine someone says, "You've been distant," and instead of making excuses, you ask yourself, "Who have I failed to show up for?" Imagine someone says, "You keep talking about your goals, but you're not doing anything to accomplish them. You're not doing the work." And instead of getting angry, you get moving. That's how criticism becomes fuel. The insult becomes instruction. The wound becomes wisdom. The trigger becomes transformation. And the person who tried to hurt you accidentally helped you grow. That's the ultimate victory. Not proving them wrong with your words, proving them wrong with your life. But sometimes the greatest victory is admitting they were right. That takes courage. Anybody can reject criticism. Anybody can get angry. Anybody can blame the other person. But it takes strength to sit with discomfort, to swallow your pride, and to say, "I don't like hearing that, but maybe I needed to hear it." That sentence can save relationships. It can save careers. It can save years of repeating the same mistakes. The truth may hurt, but denial hurts much longer. The truth may embarrass you, but avoiding it will imprison you. The truth may sting for a moment, but a lie can steal your future. So the next time someone says something that gets under your skin, pause. Don't react immediately. Just sit with it for a moment. Don't hand your emotions the microphone. Ask yourself, why did that hurt? Is there any truth inside of it? What can I learn from this? And if it's false, let it go. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. But if it's true, own it, fix it, grow from it. Because criticism is only dangerous when you refuse to learn from it. The words that hurt the deepest can reveal the work that matters most. And sometimes the person who offended you didn't discover your weakness. They simply uncovered the weakness you were already hiding. So stop asking, "How dare they say that?" And start asking, "What am I going to do about it?" The truth only hurts when there's something inside of us that still needs healing. And the criticism that hurts the most may be the invitation you've been waiting for to finally become who you know you're capable of being. So don't run from the truth. Use it. Don't fear the mirror. Face it. Don't waste your life defending your weaknesses when you could be destroying them. Because the goal isn't to become impossible to criticize. The goal is to become honest enough to grow and secure enough to laugh when the criticism isn't true. This has been your Daily Dose of Dunn. Remember, the truth may sting, but it can also set you free. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me.